I'll be very honest with you. I don't think I've given my heart and soul earlier, but I do that. But later on, yes. So there was enough amount of work, let's be honest, that I was doing that I was hating. It didn't feel like that evolution was happening at that point of time. It felt like nothing was moving to me.
Somebody who's done Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi and Hindi, you were always a pan-India actor.
I was never good with my PR.
Truth bombs have been dropped here.
You were working round the clock, double shifts, and you know, there was not this kind of money that they get today. So I just feel that you get the what would I say, work's worth, I would say.
Yeah. That totally
which at that time really didn't happen as much. I was pregnant at that time and I didn't know it.
Hey guys, my name is Shravan Shah and today I'm going to be having a conversation with somebody who I have admired a lot. Presenting Sonali Bendre in the house. What's up?
Hi guys. I love the energy.
Yay! And plus I'm having coffee, so the energy has doubled up now.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. You know, I want to ask you this, first of all, that how do you react, you know, whenever you go to places and then somebody will walk up to you and tell you, hey, we watch your work. Really big fan. How do you react to that?
Well, as long as they don't say that when I was in school, I'm like, I don't want to know. But no, but it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing to know that, you know, over so many years, people have been watching and, you know, still connect.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, that, you know, that they still connect, and that I'm really happy about.
Perfect. You made your debut in 1994.
Yeah. Is that what it was? Okay.
Yes, it was 1994. So we are going back in time. Okay, 1994 is when the debut happened. Okay, back then, you know, was Sonali back then? Did she even have this thought that, hey, you know, a few years down the line, this is where I'm going to be?
Oh, you know, I had the thought in my mind when I started was that, hey, this is the amount of money I need to make. Once I make this money, I will think about what I want to do with life. I was not at all, I never thought I would be an actor. I'm not trained to be one. I'd never done any acting, you know, theatre or anything in school. So definitely not something that I thought about. I'm grateful to God and my genes that I had the looks and I kept getting the offers. And because I kept getting the offers, I said that maybe I should try it. And honestly, whatever I did, and there was no other, as I can say it, if I can say this, the career option where I could kind of reach the figure that I had in mind, the money that I wanted to make as quickly. And so it was just a process of elimination that this is where I'll make it fastest, so let me do it.
Let's do it.
Yes. I did not expect to fall in love with this profession or fall in love with being in front of the camera. But I think I really enjoy being in front of the camera.
And I think that shows whenever you star in something, it shows that you literally give your heart and soul to it, and it shows to the audience.
I'll be very honest with you. I don't think I've given my heart and soul earlier, but I do that. But later on, yes, because it was just fun.
Yeah.
And it was a job.
Yeah.
But when the line between the job and what I really enjoy doing, it's kind of blurred at some point in life, and I can't pinpoint exactly when that happened, but it just happened at some point.
Wow. No, but do you remember, was there a particular film that, you know, made you feel like, hey, you know what? Of course, I was doing ABCD, but this one actually pushed me.
I think it was more than a film. It was probably just a song or a scene, I would call it. But Zakham was one of those films which made me say that, hey, if this kind of stuff is made, I can be in love with it. Because there was enough amount of work, let's be honest, that I was doing that I was hating. I mean, it was just a job. It was doing nothing. It was not stimulating me. But that film was of that kind. Sarfarosh was like that.
That's
in its own way, Dil Jale in its own way had that thing to it. You know, even the Barjatia film that I did, in its own way had its charm. I mean, what the character I played is not me at all, to a certain degree, that extremely shy and but there is a side of me in there, but I enjoyed doing that, and what I really enjoyed was the fact that I could be different people. And I didn't have to really you know, bear the consequences of being that person. So that was fabulous.
But also the films that you spoke about, okay, like even today, every Sunday you'll have Mr. Suraj Barjatia's film playing on TV, and I remember I will watch it even though I know what's going to happen. I still will watch it.
Really?
Yeah, it's because I don't know, there is something about that film that makes you fall in love with it.
You know, till date I have not seen any of my films.
You
like
never
while
rewatch
dubbing,
any
you've
of
seen
them?
portions of it, but I've never seen any of my own films.
None of them.
None of them.
Even when they're on TV?
Yeah.
Gets awkward?
I mean, it's done, so I'm done with it. So I've moved on.
But you know, was there a phase when you were like, hey, I am doing this, fine, but where am I going with this?
So where the going with it came when, you know, when I did television, I did a show called Kya Masti Kya Dhoom.
Yeah.
And I had just finished with the Barjatia film. Sarfarosh had also just about happened. So, you know, I was quite at the, I was doing really well in that sense. And when this show came to me, and I took it on, and everybody thought that I had really like kind of, why was I doing it? And at that point of time, it was, you know, when you were doing television, it was suddenly like kind of looked at in a certain way. But I really felt that television and the fact that I was entering somebody's home in that sense was very interesting. Goldie also helped me take the decision. There was when we were talking about it, he did point that out, and I felt that what am I going to do? Where am I heading with this? And how much more do I have over here? So I just felt that not exactly a switch, but kind of a move to take on more and not just wait for films was something that I thought was an interesting thing to do.
That's
and
true.
Never regretted it. And I think today also when you remember, because most of the kids who were watching that show at that time have grown up.
Didn't want to say that, but here we are.
You know, suddenly, without really kind of realizing it, but my audience had gone younger.
Yeah.
And it just gave me a longer life.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you know, I have to say this, that especially actors in the late 90s, I think you'll belong to that changing phase of cinema where cinema was evolving. So initially, of course, you had the parallel cinema and commercial cinema. Then you had cinema like a Sarfarosh and a Dil Jale, which was commercial, yet there was heavy content in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the evolution of cinema started. But as actors, did you all realize that hey, this is happening?
Considering that I was barely realizing anything at that point, definitely did realize something like this. But I would just say that, you know, evolution is a constant.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we are always evolving.
Yeah.
And right now also, if you see what is happening, I mean, it's fantastic the way it's just kind of speeding up the whole process. So it didn't feel like that evolution was happening at that point of time. It felt like nothing was moving to me. So when it's interesting that you look back and think that the evolution started from there. Being there at that point, it didn't feel like that.
Yeah. Also, another thing that of late actors are talking about is this term, new term that has been coined, Pan-India. Somebody who's done Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi and Hindi, you were always a Pan-India actor.
I was never good with my PR.
Truth bombs have been dropped here.
No, so I should have probably said this a long time back, but look, I didn't even think of it like that. So thank you for pointing that out.
Always. I mean, so, you know, this is the thing, right? You can belong to any industry, but eventually you are an Indian actor. And back then, did you guys get a little irked when somebody just called you, hey, you're just a Bollywood actor, hey, you're just a South actor? Did that happen to you? You were like, I am an actor, I'm just going to play my part in whichever content that I get. That was the idea.
Yeah. But also because I think for me, I can shut things out. It can be very irritating to people who know me because but I can compartmentalize to a great extent. And so if there is something that I don't like hearing, I can just shut it out and say that, okay, this is it, this is over, this is something I don't want to hear. So it's not like I would kind of, you know, dwell on things like that. Also, I'll tell you another thing is that the way we worked at that point of time in 90s, you were doing, a film would go on for 5 years. So, you know, you were going back, remembering your continuity and stuff like that. So, frankly, you really didn't have too much time. You were working round the clock, double shifts, and, you know, there was not this kind of money that they get today. That was not there. So you did a lot more work, and there was a lot more effort that went in. You didn't have the vans and the luxury that
pampering that happened.
I wouldn't call it pampering. I think it's a necessity. It's absolutely needed, for the creative process and everything. But I can feel now when I look back, I can feel the lack of it. So one was just putting in a lot more effort. The input was so much and the output was not that much. Right now I feel if I put the kind of input I was putting in then, I would get a far greater output, because things are so much more organized and departments are so much more organized, people are so much more professional. So all that is great about today. And so I just feel that you get the what would I say, work's worth, I would say. Which at that time really didn't happen as much.
But in the early 2000s, do you think that, or was there a phase where you thought that, hey, this is a low and I don't know what I'm going to do now? It's
well, I got, early 2000s is when I got married. And I was still working. I was doing my South films and everything. In fact, I was working till I was in my 8th month of pregnancy, because I was doing a play which was called Aapki Sonia with we've lost him, but yes, I'll never do that play again because you can't do it without him. Aapki Sonia was the play, and we were traveling with it all over, and so literally till 8.5 months I was doing this play. By the end of it, when I break down at the end of that play, and by 8 months the baby in me was like, every time that breakdown would happen, the kicks were getting so strong. I was like, I think I need to stop now because I can't handle these kicks anymore. So it would be like, oh, forgetting my line because, I'm getting this kick from inside. So, so I continued working till then. There was not really, oh, this is low, what am I going to do now? Once the baby was born, I was very clear I needed to give my child so
it was a decision that was taken. You took it.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to be there. I think a child needs at least one parent being there all the time, and our line of work is like that. There is you can't predict the timing. So that was definitely something I wanted to do.
Do you know that this special number that you did for the Marathi film, even today, as we speak, is played everywhere?
I was pregnant at that time and I didn't know it.
What?
And Farah choreographed the song, and she was like, and she was laughing. She's saying, Sonali, at last we see a tummy on you, because I always had a concave, literally, stomach, and so she was like, at last we see a tummy on you. Goldie's taking good care of you. You're eating Punjabi food. She was joking about it, and we were laughing about it. And then I called her up and I said, babe, you know why?
and what happened? How did she react to that?
We were all
laughing about it.
We have laughed through everything, danced through most of the things in life, and I think that's how life should be.
That is so true.
It was fun.
Fast forwarding to 2018, when you got the news that, hey, you'll be detected with cancer. Okay, but we knew somewhere that the lady is gonna fight it, and you did it. Okay, but what is that one strong lesson that you've learned from it that you want to tell everybody out there?
I think I had forgotten being fearless, because that's something that teenagers have. When you're just about in your early 20s and all, you're fearless because the whole life is ahead of you, the world is your oyster or whatever. And as you grow, you start becoming fearful, and especially when you turn a parent, you start becoming really fearful because you're kind of looking at everything as how is it going to affect the child. And both Goldie and me have had this conversation, so I can tell you this very clearly, that's one thing we've promised ourselves, that taught us the lesson that we really need to go back to being fearless again. It's a natural process to be a little fearful as to how is it going to turn out, but I feel that somewhere, especially in the creative field, the moment you start becoming fearful, you start overthinking things, and you're kind of not really being as creatively out there as you can be, because you're so fearful of so many things. So yes, I promised myself I'll be fearless.
Nice. But we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
That, the way you fought it, I mean, kudos to you for that. You also started a book club.
Yes.
And you still continued that. How is that going?
It's going really well. I have a great team. who really helps me with my book club, and that's our passion project.
Yeah.
Books, unfortunately, feels like they are dying breed now because barely anybody reads them. But the ones who love books, want to save it and conserve it and really hold on to it. And I think we have enough of that. And it's just been growing from strength to strength, the book club. So, like we said, there's nothing that, I mean, how do the millennials call it? Everything is, how do you monetize it is how everything is looked at. So, in that term, there's definitely no way I can monetize it, so to say. But yes, it's a passion project, and I'm glad for it. It took me through my highs have been lovely with it, and it really carried me through my low, especially in New York and everything. When there was that low and I was putting a book out or I was doing a book discussion, it kept me going. It gave me the push to say that put the lipstick on, put the kajal on, get out of bed, sit there and do the conversation. And the way the community reacted, and the kind of, I got so many messages and so much of help from everybody that it was great to have the book club. It really helped, yeah.
And the last one coming your way today, when you sit back and you're having this conversation, it's like we've gone through the entire journey from 1994 to now. Okay, is Sonali happy?
Oh yes, I am. I'm alive, and not just alive, but thriving.
Yeah.
It's important to, life wouldn't be fun if you were, okay, I'm alive and you're just kind of breathing. Yeah. But I think I'm alive and I'm thriving, and that is the key to it, yes.
For sure.
Couldn't ask for more.
Perfect. On that note, I will wrap this up. Thank you so much for having a conversation with me.
Thank you.
Keep killing it like you do. We're going to always and always love you.
I don't think you like my coffee.
I love it. I'm going to finish it as soon as I finish this.
Okay.
But thank you so much for having a conversation.
My
Loads
pleasure.
of love to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's a wrap.